What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel and also live from Travis's X account. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother, and friend, and as he would like all of you to know, still world champion, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how you feeling, buddy?
Feeling like a champion, JP. Feeling like a champion. I believe today is Isaiah Hartenstein Day, which is good. Happy, Isaiah Hartenstein Day to all who celebrate. And it's been great. Every once in a while, you just you see some NBA talk and whatnot, and all they say is, well, everybody's chasing OKC, and it's always a fun little reminder. So, before camp gets started and whatnot, I figured I would remind everybody on camera, in case anybody forgot, that Oklahoma City's still the world champions. But excited to have our guest on today. He's been doing really good stuff with OU Insider, Voice of College Football, that kind of stuff. He came down from a long way away to visit a baseball game, and I was blessed to go on with him and chat it up. He's a pro's pro. I mean, look at this setup. I mean, this is one of the more beautiful podcast setups that are in the game. It's a professionally well done. So excited to have our guest today.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've been trying to get him on for a little bit. I'm glad that it was able to work out tonight, and that he was gracious enough to be able to come on tonight. But without further ado, let's give a warm JP and Trav show welcome to our guest, Josh. Is that Mahler?
Yep, Mahler. You got it right.
Beautiful.
First try.
Josh Mahler. Josh, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the kind words. Yeah, I mean, I've been to a few baseball games this year. It's been a lot of fun. So I'm just excited to be on here with you guys, be able to talk a little bit of Oklahoma sports, Oklahoma football.
Yeah. Man, give us a little bit of background on yourself. How you, for those who don't know, right, or maybe aren't familiar with, obviously you've been on OU Insider and Voice of College Football, but a little bit about your story. How'd you come to Oklahoma fandom? How'd you get into, the kind of podcast game, getting into the, I guess you want to say, the journalistic side of Oklahoma sports?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun journey. I got started into podcasting back in 2022, doing kind of a national sports show just for fun, and didn't even think it would grab anybody's attention. And that one blew up and had a lot of fun with it. And then got into Oklahoma. Somebody said, hey, why don't you start an Oklahoma show? And I was like, is that even a thing? Like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I've been an Oklahoma fan since I can remember. My mom grew up in Oklahoma, so I kind of learned that from her. So it was either choose Oklahoma, and I was a mama's boy. So it was either choosing Oklahoma with my mom or rooting for the Nebraska Cornhuskers with my dad. So with my dad and my brother and I always butt heads when we were younger. So obviously I was going to choose the rival team and pick the Oklahoma Sooners, and I think I picked the right one. But jumped into it and started doing Oklahoma podcasting a little bit, and then then going from there, meeting Parker Thune and Brandon Drum and being able to cover baseball for them, which is new for OU Insider. And so that was a lot of fun. It was new for me to be able to actually cover a team. And so, it's been a blast, and being able to go down there, learn more about the program from within for the baseball program. And I think in some ways kind of bringing more eyes to the program, but then specifically bringing more eyes to things like recruiting. I didn't realize that that's not even a thing in baseball, really. So it's been a lot of fun. And then, of course, now doing Oklahoma at the Voice of College Football over there at the Voice of College Football Network. It seems like a lot of good things going on over there. So whenever they reached out to me, I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk football. So, it's kind of been my journey.
Yeah, you're doing a great job over there, specifically on baseball, because it's, we had kind of talked about, Oklahoma's a saturated market, right? Like everybody. Yeah. I think we're one of the oldest, I think, out there that are affiliated with a site, or with a Rivals or a recruiting site. But yeah, it's kind of been interesting to see everybody kind of pick their spots, get in where they fit in type vibes. And honestly, the baseball market is so underserved that if you're a baseball fan out there, Oklahoma or otherwise, Josh has got his handle right under his name there. Check him out. Even like transfer portal stuff, like it's just tough covering baseball recruiting because you don't have the network of recruiting specialists or recruiting reporters that like football or basketball does. Football mainly, like the star systems, and everybody knows the official visits are widely reported and this, that, and the other. Like they're leaking things to reporters. Like baseball, if they want to, they can be as tightly lipped as they like, or they can talk about it. So shout out to you that you've been able to build relationships in there and report accurately and without giving away the farm, right? Without trying to be first and leak this, that, or the other. You've done a great job with it. And is it in your future to come down to Oklahoma?
Yeah, it'll be. I was just telling JP this. It's kind of like in the next years when I hope to be moved down there, as long as everything goes to plan. And so, I hope to be moved down there so I can give a little bit deeper insight to it and all that. My wife and I are hoping to be moved down there within the year, and then, and what you said too, trying to get information out there. But the thing is that Oklahoma, I was actually just talking to somebody from within the program today about it. How it's funny that they said that they've been very reserved on how much they're willing to give because they haven't really had many people asking directly about who do you have in visiting, and they're kind of nervous on how to go about that. Like how much do we give the media outside of what we have already given them? So, I've asked questions that I guess are maybe things that they don't want to give up, and that's totally fine. So working in those relationships, kind of bringing light to it and all that. And then, of course, getting closer to the program, being able to do a little bit more with that too. So, yeah, it's a lot of big things in the works too. So hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic specifically with the baseball team because it's like, a lot of their diehard fans, myself included. I mean, I'm a fan. I don't sit in the press box. I am behind home plate, drinking beers, spitting seeds, like eating peanuts and hot dogs. I'm the full
verify.
Building pyramids, all that. Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
Got the whole pyramid going in front of you and everything.
So it's like part of it is, access kind of invigorates, right, a fan base. Like if people want to know about that kind of stuff, and if people can't find out about it, it's like, oh man, that's kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to learning about the future of the team or whatever. But if you're shutting them off from all information, then I mean, those are some of your biggest cheerleaders, right? Those are some of your, people that are trying to bring more attention, more butts and seats, pound the table for, the next athletic director, at least to start your facility upgrades, right? To finish your facility upgrades, to give Skip the pitching lab that he deserves after he just made, 3 or 4 more millionaires, immediately, right? So it's a fine line to walk if you're a baseball program because you're like, I don't want to leak a bunch and put us at a competitive disadvantage, right? Because, if they think they're about to recruit a kid and say it's like portal target or something like that, and they're like real secretive about bringing him in, they stand a better chance of landing that kid because, the competition doesn't find out that kid is taking that visit. But at the same time, so like how do you filter out the information to be like, okay, we want our fans to know this stuff so they can get excited about this and continue the excitement towards the program, or do we risk giving up a competitive advantage that we have by our secrecy? So it's a fine line to walk for them and for you, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I've had people DM me too and asking me information. I'm like, listen, like you can go over to OU Insider and I will give everything that I can over there on Twitter or X. I give out everything probably most of the time after the fact. Sometimes you wait for the kid to announce it because it's their announcement, right? And so that's just a respectable thing to do. And so they're always kind of bugging you, and it's like, hey, I can't give that stuff up. It's just it's rude to the university and to the kid that wants to announce it himself. So you just kind of hold back and wait. But yeah, it's definitely a fine line, and I've had my challenges of trying to find that fine line for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's. Again, like KRJ says here, Jace McClellan would have been sooner if Lincoln didn't put out the eyeball emojis, right? But again, that's marketing. That's, there have also been recruits that literally sent the eyeball emoji from Lincoln's phone so they could see all of the all of the notifications hit his phone. Like it's again kid by kid basis. some kids love it, some kids don't. Sometimes like I don't like the prediction model. I don't like any predictions. Like I think they're the dumbest thing in recruiting. And I know that many that have predictions feel the same way that I do. They don't do anybody any good. Like kids don't like them, anything like that. And it's like, it raises the price on that, and it's just it's annoying. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not as involved in recruiting coverage as I once was, because you talk about those DMs. Goodness gracious. Like, and I didn't start, like, my introduction to the fan base was not recruiting guy or like insider or anything like that. It was a guy that was doing therapy sessions after cooking some steaks at a recruiting event. Like, oh, we're all family, right? You can tell me this, you can tell me that. I'm like, oh boy, what kind of animal have I opened up? So,
sometimes I tell my wife, because she doesn't care. She doesn't care at all. I'm like, oh, hey, this just happened with Oklahoma. I can't say anything yet, and I've got to keep this. Oh, I just found this out. This is some cool inside scoop that I found out, and I can tell her, knowing that she's not going to tell anybody. She doesn't go online or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. JP, you were probably sick and tired of getting questions about you being an inside source with the Lindsay recruitment.
Yeah, I got a lot all the time. I mean, I actually had dinner. Parker was up here, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, the week before, a week and a half before Braxton made his commitment. Talking about it, but it was just, it got sickening. I'm glad that, like Trav said, felt like a year and a half ago, he and I were kind of more. We talked about, not that we don't talk about on the show anymore, we do, but that's not necessarily our lane, and that's okay. We, have never tried to say that it is, and so like that's why it's like, hey, Brandon and Parker got something going on. They talking more. Go ahead, man. Like, that's what y'all get paid to do. But yeah, I can imagine, getting bombarded with every recruit like I was with Braxton. So more power to y'all.
Oh yeah. Parker and Brandon definitely get the heat of it. And the amount that they respond to on OU Insider, even too. I mean they're great at it too. Going down through the list and everything and answering a lot of questions. That's what I thought was pretty cool about their community and everything, what they do over there. That's why I wanted to, if I was going to jump into this game, that's why I wanted to partner with them, because they're a couple of great guys too. Been really helpful to me.
Yeah, I mean a long time OU Insider. Before I was just an undercover agent, insider at recruiting events, but yeah, it's been a contributor there for 4 years now, something like that. Jeez, time flies. But I'm sure I'll be doing I won't be doing the cooking videos this year, I don't think, but I'll probably be coming with the What's Cooking with Grill Boy articles like I have been, and doing the pregame pods with them as well. So we'll see. I haven't heard otherwise, and so I'll just write it, send it in, and then send my Venmo with it. Like, hey, I sent it to you. What's up? So, anyways, they're good dudes. It'll be exciting to see what the next year entails for those guys, as far as that the merger goes, the acquisition, if you will, and kind of see how all that shakes out. So, yeah,
that's been good so far.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because I get kids that hit me up all the time. They're like, "Hey, can you update?" Because I did a bunch of interviews. The interviews that Parker posted with Cooper Hackett and Samaj Stanford. At the very bottom it says OU Insiders Travis Davidson contributed to this report. It's because I interviewed the kids and sent the audio to Parker, and man, it made me the interaction since then have made me want to not cover recruiting, or at least directly with the kids, because man, I get in these text messages. Hey man, can you update my offers? I just got another offer. Hey man, can you go in and update my weight? Hey, can you go in and update my position? Hey, can you go? And I'm like, man, I'm not IT, bro. Like, I don't do it. Like I'm not. I don't do this. So I just forwarded it on to Parker and Brandon. I was like, hey, y'all handle this. So.
Yeah. Speaking of Parker and Brandon, we love them. We always talk about the little sibling rivalry. I feel like we have with OU Insider Live because like 2 years ago, Travis and I will stand on this. If somebody wants to find evidence that this is not true, you're more than welcome to debunk this theory. I am pretty sure Travis and I were like the first like OU podcast to go do live shows like consistently. Most other like OU platforms on YouTube did like video, and they've done great content. We've had some on Two Plane Sports, some other people. They've done they did like 30-minute videos that they put out sometimes talking about this here or there, and they would sometimes do a live show. We were like a dedicated live show from the jump, and that's what we said we was going to do. Okay, so it feels like after that, a lot of people started doing it like every week, or like, oh, we're doing this show, and it's great. Like in a way, it feels like we inspire some people. And then I remember the day that OU Insider started doing they live, and they chose the same day we was doing it. I'm like, bro, come on, man, like I don't know, Josh. I don't know if you are you a Christian, Josh? It's okay. Yeah. Okay, so Travis too. Y'all know the story in the Bible when David took Bathsheba, right, and killed Uriah. Y'all know that story.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt. I was like, man, we Uriah, like we got crumbs over here, man. Like y'all got y'all cool with the organization and everything like that, and let us do our thing over here. I know Trav knows a lot of people, and I know some people, but help us out. Go on another day, and they're like, we can't because the conferences and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, it's fine. It's
fine. They're like the press conference happens this day, so we have to do the podcast this day. I was like, what? I was like,
it could happen another, but it's okay. Like I said, we like it. Travis obviously works in tandem with them, and I am cool with both of them. They even tag me some posts, which I'm cool with. We're like a little brother, I feel like. But then I also looked because like it's not deep, but like I was out, the numbers are a little bit lighter today. They normally up over 1,000 on X, and last week I was like, oh, it's the ESPYs, and so I'm looking this week and I put up X, and I was like, oh, OU Insider is hosting live on X. I was like, that's interesting because I've never seen that before. so hey, we going at the same time, but it's okay. We competing pretty well. We only 100 less than they are right now. So
I'll jump over in their live chat and say, jump over to this show instead.
I'll be like, you wouldn't believe the stuff that just got leaked in the JP and Trav show. You wouldn't believe.
We have been known to leak things time after time.
They just talked about what those eyeballs were from Jim Nagy.
that one Oktoberfest episode of me, man, I was.
Ooh, you almost got in trouble on that one.
I'm glad my connection went out. Oh man, I was like, man, the Wi-Fi gods were trying to save me.
Yeah, no, it was funny.
Like, we're gonna shut you down. For all I know, Lincoln Riley was the one, or Brent Venables was the one that hacked my system and shut me out of StreamYard that night.
Yeah, probably a good thing. All right, well. It's a good intro to the show. One thing we did, want to talk about as we are getting close to the start of fall camp was just some Sooner depth chart predictions. And I thought that we could look at another friend of the show over on Locked On Sooners podcast, John Williams, and obviously our boy Jay with Unfair Sports, who, by the way, if you guys didn't go see his interview with Jim Nagy at SEC Media Days, you should. He did an excellent job. Very proud of him, and he gave Jim the platform to speak to some of these fans who have been just spewing nonsense about the viral clip that Jake Rosenberg shared that had people thinking that Jim Nagy is doing Moneyball and cares nothing about recruiting talent to the University of Oklahoma, and that we're just playing small ball type thing. So I thought that was interesting. Matter of fact, Josh, did you see that? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that whole bit.
You mean Jay's interview? I guess it was Jay and John were in the interview, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I watched part of it. I don't know if I watched the whole thing though. I know I've seen clips of what they were asking him. I definitely saw where they kind of gave Jim the floor. Just told him like, hey, explain yourself further into depth now that you've seen what the haters have said about you. And it's just funny listening to him and how he explains it, because he's like, people are acting like we're not going after 5 stars anymore. I never said that. Those words never came out of my mouth. And I think people saw that small clip. I don't know. I think the first clip that was going viral was like 30 seconds or less. And people saw that and they never went to go watch the entire interview to listen to his exact response to what he's talking about with recruiting. And yeah, I mean, it's not a money ball, a money ball tactic. We're going to evaluate guys on our own rather than listening to Rivals or 247 or ESPN to do it for us. We're going to do it ourselves with our own database, and then we'll go over to we might use their sites after we know. But if you form your own opinion first, then you can't be persuaded just because you see a 5-star, just because you see a 3-star. And so, yeah, I just thought the whole thing, man, it was just funny to see how people reacted to it.
Well, and the annoying part is, like, the best players on our team, like, how many of them are 5 stars, right? Like, how many of them are 3 stars? Like, I'm Garrett Nussmeier and Lenore Sellers are arguably the top 2 quarterbacks in the SEC. Lenore Sellers was a 3-star. He was like the 34th ranked quarterback in the country. Now, Dylan Stewart is like a top 2 edge rusher in the SEC. That boy, a 5-star. And he's incredible. But like Lenore Sellers, 3-star, right? And he's going to be shouldering the load trying to lift South Carolina out of that schedule. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like John Mateer, like 3-star. Like, and I'm not saying that we should only go after 3 stars, but just the crazy idea that we're not going to go after 5 stars, because I'm sorry, I thought Jay Krull was still heavily on our list, and Bo Bentley will probably be a 5-star by the time the class is over. So it's like,
probably
the idea that we're not going after 5 stars is ridiculous. It's that we're just trusting our own evaluation. And guess what? Bo Bentley, right when we offered Bo Bentley before Georgia did, and we had a quarterback committed at the time. Like, Arbuckle got to town and then immediately offered Bo Bentley. And he was not like a top 10 quarterback when that offer happened. And then, boom, look at him rise through the ranks. Look at a bunch of kids rise through the ranks, that Nagy, has approved of, has gone after. But he said, he's like, this 2026 class, he's like, by the time I got here, I didn't have staff put together, nothing like that. So the 2027 class is really what I'm going to judge the approach, the style on for Jim.
Yeah. All right, let's get into these predictions, guys. Like I said, kind of utilizing the work done by friend John Williams, and you guys feel free to agree or disagree with anything that was put up here. But obviously, starting a quarterback, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Everybody knows John Mateer is the guy. You got Michael Hawkins Jr. At backup, and then predictions QB3 Witt Neubauer. Any disagreements there or shocks? Obviously, outside of maybe the first 2. What do you guys think about Witt?
I hope we never see him in meaningful time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
And that's not doubting his ability. It's just we'd be in really rough shape if we go down to QB3.
I would think that maybe like against Illinois State, I hope to see him play then. Whenever we're already winning 65-0.
In those senses.
Yeah, you had John Mateer get a good lead in the first quarter and a half. Then you got Hawkins Jr. comes in there to extend that lead a little further. You're up by 60 points or whatever, and you're like, go ahead, Witt, go in there, get some play time, man.
Why not? Yeah. Moving on to running back. Now this is where it gets into. Past the first 2, I'm interested in your guys' opinion on it, because yes, Jaden, I think everybody knows starting. Javonte is RB2. do we really feel like X is beating Taylor Tatum out? And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Do you feel like if Taylor's RB4, that it's like, hey man, he's not living up to his potential, or is it just that, hey, this is how deep we are? Because I think that's a conversation you can have too.
I mean,
I'll say that I think some fans are going to be frustrated to see Javonte Barnes above X, even though
Really?
personally, so if Javonte Barnes is healthy, we know what he's capable of when he's healthy. I mean, you've seen it time and time again. It's just he's had so many different injury bugs that have attacked him. Yeah, I think the thing that keeps Taylor Tatum out of that rotation, if anything, and keeping him with very few touches and very few moments on the field, is that fumbling issue. That was a huge problem last year.
Yeah.
Got Oklahoma into trouble at times. Other times, he kind of got lucky with it, like against Alabama. Popped out. Defense was able to hold up and be good. So yeah, I think a lot of fans want to see Xavier Robinson up at 2, and then I think fans want to see Taylor Tatum at 3 instead of Javonte Barnes. I think that's crazy. I think if anything, if we learned anything from the running back room last year, it was just that what the heck are we doing? How Xavier Robinson wasn't even on the playing roster at the beginning of the season. That's crazy. But it's a running back room that is full. Torrey Blaylock too. Don't sleep on that kid. I think he might touch the field a couple times this season.
Yeah, ideally you've got the depth, right? Ideally you have a bunch of backs you can trust. But I'm a Xavier Robinson guy. I think that he and Jaden Ott are our 2 best running backs. I still think that, I think the upside, the ceiling is there. I think we saw it down the stretch. The way he can run, he maintained the power, and he slimmed up a lot. When he got to campus, he just started busting his butt. I mean, he started doing extra workouts, started doing this, that, and the other. And he wasn't prepared to play early in the year. And that's not saying that he had been lazy or anything like that. But he came in as a freshman, and he wasn't ready to step on the field right away. That's no knock. That is just because he was a freshman, and he leaned out, maintained his speed, maintained his power, and we saw that on display down the stretch. So, I personally think Jaden and X are 2 best backs, but I mean, I think you're going to see Jaden be the bell cow, but I think you're going to see a lot of rotation around there. And I do agree. I think Torrey Blaylock's going to get some touches for sure. Hopefully in blowouts, he'll be able to show off some of that crazy speed he's got. Schmidt's been doing him right. Obviously, his dad's a great trainer. So, yeah, I think I'd just high on the running back room, much higher than I am on other positions, because I think, and I think the offensive line is going to be at such that we can run the ball effectively this year. So, when you include Mateer's running, I don't know what our rushing leader, tier list or pecking order looks like at the end of the year, but I know it's going to put last year's to shame.
Well, and I think with that depth too, you look at those top 2 guys that John's kind of got predicted as the top 2 guys. You got Jaden and Javonte, both injury prone, not injury prone. I shouldn't say that. Guys that have battled injuries in the past. That depth is exactly what you need. And like you said, Trav, just being able to rotate guys in like crazy. I mean, that's a blessing. Being able to have 5 guys that you could go to and just put them on the field and rotate them out just one after the other. That's a huge blessing. So hopefully that's the goal, is to keep them rotated enough to where you don't have to worry about injuries.
Yeah. And that, I mean, I think this, I mean, we could have the best running back room top to bottom dang near in the SEC. I don't think that's crazy to say.
No.
You know what I mean? Just based off the talent that we see on this list. So it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see all of them. All of them are obviously going to get a run against Illinois State. That's who we're playing, right? Yeah, it's not 7 Illinois State on August 30th. So cool. Let's move to wide receiver. And this one will be, I think, this is not guaranteed. No, I don't think anybody can really truly say, hey, this is where this is going, or this is where it's not going. Obviously, at X, it says, hey, starter Zion Kearney. Predictions, obviously, we know that Deion's going to be a starter slot, and that Giovanni Gibson is projected to be the starter at Z, obviously making sure he's coming back healthily from his injury. I don't think anything that we've heard said that he wouldn't be available for the first game. But Jaden Gibson, Isaiah Satenga, Jermichael Carter backing them up, and then you got Ivan Carrion, Jacob Jordan, Elijah Thomas. And I mean, just knowing what we know about these guys, even the wide receiver room, I think shows some promise. And Josh, Trav and I had talked about this on the show before. I give Trav a lot of credit. I don't know if a lot of people remember, but prior to the 2023 season, right, post 2022, a lot of people had no faith in our wide receiver room, like none, zero. They said, well, "What's going on?" Like I thought Emmett Jones was supposed to be, whatever, right? They had no faith, and then Trav was like, "Hey, we got to let them perform. Like, can we wait and see?" And lo and behold, going into last year, they were probably seen as a top 10 wide receiver group in the nation. Dang near top 5 by a lot of people's metrics. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but they performed in 2023, and then going to next year, we're seen as a top group. And so, could this be a repeat of that, where we didn't get to see them at all last year in any capacity, and now with some of these names, you got highly recruited guys like Zion Kearney. You got a guy in Giovanni Gibson who, a little bit underrated originally in his career, but was able to come in the transfer portal and come to a place like Oklahoma. Deion was hurt last year a lot, didn't really get to play, so we didn't see his full potential. We know what we've seen from Jaden, and you got a bunch of other guys, right? So, anyway, long-winded way to say, what are your guys' thoughts about the wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, one name that stands out to me on that list is one that I keep on hearing from spring football. I heard a little bit about him, but then whenever they were doing summer workouts, I heard a lot about him, and it's Elijah Thomas. Hearing that he's getting big, that he's getting building up to the point where he's able to be more physical, kind of drawing some comparisons to maybe like a CeeDee Lamb type of player. Just that tough runner after catch. I'm excited to see where he ends up coming. And then I also heard during media days, I kept on hearing, I think John Mateer talking quite a bit about Jermichael Carter too, and what he's capable of. So yeah, there's some guys that I think Oklahoma fans from spring football probably didn't hear their names much, that are probably going to hear a little bit more and possibly even working their way up. And I've heard a lot about Elijah Thomas being one of those guys too that just feels like he's clicking with the system, feels like he's clicking at the collegiate level. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him really jump up on the depth chart unless they were trying to hold him back and redshirt him. I just don't think that's a thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got the highest physical ceiling of that last 3 group, if you will. I mean, obviously, Ivan Carrion's he's a tree, but Elijah Thomas, obviously, incredibly high upside. I think he's a 5-star if he doesn't, come from Shakota. Like, I think he's probably a 5-star. He went to 5-star camps for rivals and everybody else and won wide receiver MVP, camp MVP. Like, he was everything you ever wanted him to be. So, I think KRJ saying early winter it was ET and Manny Choice. Now it's just ET. I think it's because they were the only 2 freshmen in the class. Like, we only brought in 2 wide receivers last year, Manny Choice and Elijah Thomas. So naturally they were compared a lot, and obviously Manny's huge. But my thing with this particular iteration of the depth chart, I'm not convinced Zion Kearney starts. I think that it is more likely that either Jaden Gibson is healthy or that Deion Burks kicks out to the X and Isaiah Sategna is who takes that slot role. I think Deion Burks is complete enough of a wide receiver where he doesn't just have to play slot. He can play all over the place. So I think you could slide Deion out to the X, and then you could have Sategna be the slot wide receiver. So, obviously guys like Jermichael and Eli Thomas and those guys, they got a lot more reps, right? Because of the Gibson injuries, both to Jaden and Giovanni. But I'm a big fan of Isaiah Sategna. I think he's going to be big in the return game for us. I just think that he he's going to emerge in that slot role, and it's going to force Deion Burks, who obviously is when you look at NFL, he's our top receiver, prospect and whatnot. He's going to be the X, I believe. And Eli Thomas, he could rotate into that if you want to rotate Isaiah out, kick Deion into the inside, put Eli at the X. Maybe Gibson and Jermichael rotate there. You've got options, but I think you've got. I think between Deion and Isaiah, you're always going to have an advantage at the slot, depending on who's there. So Zion, we'll see. I like him, former highly rated guy. Maybe I'm just a little bit snake bit over what I didn't see from him a year ago, and I understand he was a true freshman. But if Eli Thomas is forced into that position, are we saying, he's just a freshman? No, he may be impressing. So, he had a golden opportunity to get a ton of reps last year as the whole wide receiver core was on the sideline. And I need to see a little bit more before I'm penciling him in as the starter. Isaiah Sateni has already been an SEC player, stayed on the field, was dynamic. I need to see that from Zion before I pencil him in as the starter.
I like that. Excited to see what we see from some of the young guys as well. Like you said, Elijah Thomas, everyone carry on. Be interesting to see what happens there. Now, this is the position group on the offense that I think has the most question marks, because we've never seen really any of these guys in any capacity. Obviously not for the Sooners. Will Huggins projected here from John as starters, Carson Kent, and then Jaren Kanak as your tight end number 3. Interested to not see, I guess, Caden Helms in this prediction. I don't know if he's still dealing with injuries or not, but I would assume if he's healthy, he would be in the mix. But what are your guys' thoughts on the tight end position?
It's important, but go back and look at what the tight ends had in Ben Arbuckle's system back at Washington State for the last 2 years. They really didn't get a whole lot compared to like what Lincoln Riley used a lot with his system at Oklahoma. Even what I feel like Joe John tried to do, or not Joe John, what Seth Luttrell tried to do in that, with his system. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not too concerned. I think as long as you got guys like, Will Huggins and Carson Kent, both big dudes. I know Brent Venables said something about Jaren Kanak kind of needing to work on his blocking. It's not the physicality part. He is smaller in frame, but he's very athletic for that program. He even said possibly the fastest at that position that Oklahoma's had in a long time. So I think for the most part, you're going to get those big guys in there like Will and Carson Kent. You're going to get them in there in those blocking schemes, maybe on those block and release kind of schemes as well. So I'm not too concerned with the tight end room right now. We'll see how I feel after like week 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm a Caden Helms truther. They're saying had a really good spring, really good summer.
Yeah.
If you can put, because it's wide open. I mean, it's absolutely wide open. So I think I'd call me crazy, but I think Caden Helms finishes the year in at least the top 3 in receiving stats for tight ends. That's what they brought him in, to be a jumbo. Jumbo wide receiver, tight end type, but he's gotten big. He's healthy, finally healthy. And I don't know. I don't have any reason to assume he's not going to stay healthy based on some conversations I've had. So, I mean, obviously it's always a flip of the coin, but I'll buy the real estate that's been marked down so much on Caden Helms Island. I will buy up that whole island, and I will just wait for my stock to rise on that.
I think he'll be in there for sure. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And last I heard, he's not really. I don't think he's battling any kind of injuries. Well, as long as I knock on wood on that one.
Man, for the first time since really he's been there, I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think that there's just so much question mark in that room right now. Like who is the leader, and I don't think anybody really knows. So I think that's probably where John's kind of coming from on that.
Offensive line. It's another one that I think this is a little bit more. We know who's going to be where. I think that the left guard position is the one that you look at and you say, do we want Eddie Pierre-Louis? He's the more talented, I think, of the two between him and Heath Ozida, but obviously he got some more run last year and has the experience. But you got Jacob at left tackle, Troy at center, which that's probably the most solidified position on the line. Fabechi at right guard, with Ryan Foje kind of lurking. Same, I guess, for Susie and Sexton. And then you have at right tackle Derek Simmons from Western Carolina, and then Luke, how you say that, Baklenko, the transfer from Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. So, what are you guys thinking about the O-line?
I like it. I mean, I'm feeling way better about it this time of year that I was this time of year last year. Got to get through fall, man. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I think every Oklahoma fan, everybody around the program is kind of nervous just because of what happened last season. But yeah, you feel way more confident just looking at the names alone, not taking any injury or anything like that into effect. Just looking at the names alone, you feel deeper in that room than you did last season. Not only that, but you hear a lot of talk about how physical they were in spring ball. And so as long as we hear more of that in fall, then I'm all for it. I think this is, I like that starting lineup too. I think that's probably, that's my guess. I would think that Heath Ozeda would probably get the start over EPL. I feel like there's going to be some rotations this year though, especially with trying to cut back on injury and watching the health of the guys.
Yeah. I think that we finally get the offense, the bookend tackles we've been waiting for since the class of 2022, I think it was. Jake Taylor and Jake Sexton. I'm going to have to disagree on this one that the two deep at right tackle is Derek Simmons and Luke Baklenko. I think Jake Taylor will have something to say about that position. He beat out, and I know this is not exactly a feather in the cap, but he beat out Spencer Brown easily, coming off an injury. He was injured all of last year. Injuries that kept other players out entirely. He had two different injuries that would have kept anybody out. Went out and play. I mean, dude was an absolute warrior getting through it. He's fully healthy again. He's like, I'm a big Jake Taylor and Jake Sexton guy. I think those guys got to be your bookend tackles. I think Troy Everett's got to be in the center. Let the guards fight it out. Like Eddie Pierre-Louis, if he can take Heath Ozida's role from a year ago, fine. If he can take Fabechi's role, fine. He's probably got a higher ceiling than Fabechi, but a lower floor than Fabechi. Fabechi probably has the highest floor on the team, just given his consistency. Jake Michaela, he's played a lot of interior offensive line, so maybe he has something to say about another guard position. And then I still think Logan Howland has something to say. I think he can be on the two deep. And I know everybody's really excited about Fasusi and saying, hey, look, he's got to start at the 5-star, this, that, and the other. Like, I hope not. I hope that the guys that have been there for years getting college football experience can rise to the occasion enough to where we don't have to throw in a, albeit generationally talented, freshman at left tackle. Creed didn't even start his entire freshman year. Like the idea that, Fasusi, because Oklahoma fans are so snake bit by last year's offensive line and what it looked like, just want to throw in a true freshman at left tackle and invite guys like Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart to come test him. I don't know. Color me unenthused by that. But give me Sexton and Taylor on the bookends. Give me Troy Everett. And sure, EPL and Heath Ozida, let it round it out. And that's what I want to say. Because I think Logan Howland and Heath Ozida did an admirable job in terrible conditions last year on the left side of that line, held it down, played as well as they could, and got better and better with the experience. I think Jake Taylor's won the right tackle job before. So give me the guys that have been here, been around, and taken their licks for a guy that is going to have chips on their shoulder, boulders on their shoulder to go and kind of rewrite the story on them as players.
Yeah, and you're naming players too that are, according to this list that John put out, like third string guys that aren't even listed on there. So again, kind of goes again to that depth. That's amazing to hear right now.
Yeah.
And it's great to have that feeling right now.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Just as we were talking through that, I mean, Logan Howland's, like you said, not even on this list.
Yeah,
a guy that has a lot of upside, and so again, these is just predictions. These are not what we actually see.
I don't know what the offensive line is going to look like, man. Especially after BV talking about Ryan Foje and Michael Fasusi possibly getting some playing time. Just I don't have any clue what that starting lineup's going to look like to begin and end the season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm interested to see what they have up their sleeve. Like I said, I think there's going to be the way that it's filled. I think there's going to be these weird rotations in the running back room and the offensive line. Probably not as much in the offensive line, so you got to keep that chemistry. But you might have certain sets, and then looking at the wide receiver room, running back room, just all over the place, man. Even on the defense, obviously it's easier on the defense, but just like all kinds of rotations that are going to really shake things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and old Shep brings it up in the comments. BV talking up some UK Dan at media days. We'll see. Here's the thing: we'll see is exactly my point. So when Brent talked about Fasusi and Foje, he talked about the question was talk about some of the young guys, and I know, like, there have been many times that. There have been many times that Brent Venables has answered that question and named a lot of young guys that never saw the field.
Yeah.
Like, at all. So I take when BV's talking about young guys that we haven't seen do crazy stuff, like when he talks about Danny Okoye, it's like, okay, that guy's obviously a freak. Like we've seen what he can do in even limited time. Just he looks different. But if he's just saying, like, if he just starts listing off the recruiting class from a year ago, then you're like, all right, like let's chill a little bit here.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the defensive side of the ball, defensive line, and this is, exciting in multiple ways. But starting defensive end, on the one side, R. Mason Thomas, who is a projected potential, day some even late day one, early day two pick. By some metrics, you have Taylor Wine projected back him up. This is just happenstance at this point. Nose tackle Dominic Williams. Really, at the defensive tackle position, I don't even see these things as like 1 and 2. I just see these as like these are dogs.
They're going to play. Yeah.
Like you got Dominic, Jaden, Grayson, and David Stone, and obviously. You guys know that Grayson is a big friend of the show, but that's my little bro, man. Like I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. Like I was ecstatic last year when he made some of the plays that he made, because I remember talking to him after 2023, and he was a little bit like frustrated because it just felt like he couldn't break through, and then for him to have the year he had last year. And now he's bona fide looked at as an NFL draft pick, and a high NFL draft pick at that, like top 3-4 rounds. I'm excited for him. But also on the other defensive end, we got Marvin Jones Jr., the big time transfer that we got from Florida State, former 5-star, and PJ, another 5-star on that end, and Danny Okoye is also not on this this list. So that tells you what we got cooking on the D line this year.
Yeah, well, and I agree with KRJ too. That I think Okoye over Wine. That's how I think I would feel that way too. Okoye has been showing a lot of. He's been showing a lot of upside. Going even back to last season. I mean, this whole D line, like you said, JP. I mean, it's not even ones and twos or threes kind of thing. I think your ones, twos, and threes are all going to get playing time. They're all going to get meaningful playing time. There's some threes that may not get as much, but yeah, overall, you're going to have ones and twos are going to be in there all the time. Your threes are going to get their hands in there and get a little dirty as well. So yeah, that defensive line, no worries there, no worries at all.
Yeah, I mean, unless the injury bug gets to them, they're going to be in great shape. I will say, man, in the spring, there were people that I take seriously that I was talking to that thought that T. Wine, as they call him, was possibly going to start on the other side of R. Mason Thomas. Like, they are. I mean, that. You all know me. I'm a huge Danny Okoye guy. You know, big, like known that kid for a minute. Was, you know, all throughout his recruitment, all that, was at his signing day, did radio. Like, I've known that kid and his trainer a long time. I was actually the first one that broke that he was taking his first ever OU visit. And it was like, so again, to say all that, massive Okoye guy. But in that building, Taylor Wine is, I mean, it's, people talk about him in there like he's like he's starting material.
He's a dog for
over
sure.
Marvin Jones Jr., over PJ Adebawore. Like, that's what's crazy to me. So I think that just continues to speak to the depth, as you two pointed out. I mean, 3 5-stars out of those 8 names, not bad.
Yeah,
not bad. And Trent Wilson's putting on crazy weight. Trent Wilson's up above 300 pounds, looks like a grown man. So, I mean, you start to look at some of the interior guys, right? Like, we can talk about how Danny, you know, could make some noise off the edge, right? But if you're looking at guys that you know, young guys that might make a bit of a splash, Trent Wilson is a dude.
Yeah. All right, moving on to linebacker, and this is obviously a position where we're going to have some new blood in some ways, just in the starting positions. Obviously, you know, Kip kind of took over that weak side last year. Well, sometimes he was Mike, sometimes Danny will be the Will, but regardless, Kobe is the kind of the guy that looks to step into Danny's steed as he's in the NFL now, and then you got looks like, you know, he thinks Kendall may be the cheetah, and I don't know, you know, how you guys feel about the cheetah position, if you feel like it'll switch out between Kendall and maybe Kendall Daniels, maybe even Sammy Omoshego being over there. But, you know, you see Sammy's name as a backup to Kip on the weak side. Then, you know, Reggie Powers at third, as well as maybe that backup to the cheetah position. So what are your guys' thoughts on the linebacker room?
Yeah, I think the starting lineup kind of seems pretty solid there. You know, I mean, I'm not worried about the linebackers at all. I think it's going to be huge. I do think Kip Lewis is bound to have a big season after what he did last season and working all off season to bounce, you know, to not bounce back, but to come back just as strong. And then, yeah, I agree with you. Like you said, so I've heard when Kendall Daniels first came over, I heard that he was kind of that cheetah guy. I kind of agree with you. I think you could probably put Kendall Daniels more at staying in that traditional linebacker role, just because you've got 3 or 4 guys that you could switch out for that cheetah. So, you know, I actually just had the opportunity to talk to Kendall Dolby last week, and some big time optimism from him going into this season too, and from everyone around in the program too, hearing a lot of optimism about him. So excited to see it. I love the cheetah role, and I love it especially because of Kendall Dolby and the way that he plays it. And then I think Sammy too. Sammy's big time in that role too. So I think you'll see probably a little bit of Sammy more in that cheetah than Reggie possibly. But you're still going to see Reggie out on the field in that linebacker crew as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I think the only 2 guarantees really in this are that Kip's your Will and Kobe's your Mike.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, the cheetah position is not. It's fluid. Yeah. If you're in coverage situations, you know, 3rd and long, against a pass-heavy offense, you're going to have more of a defensive back body in there, right? A Kendall Dolby, obviously, came over as the number 1 JUCO corner, played great at Cheetah last year, can come down and run support. He's a great blitzer. He shoots the gap. I mean, he's really, really good. If you get a team that's heavy run or in short yardage situations, do you put Reggie Powers in there that's a bit more of a thumper and a lot bigger than Kendall? What if Kendall's got to spell one of the cornerbacks, right? And I know, we haven't got there yet. I wouldn't be shocked if, John has a rule here where he's allowed to use Kendall Dolby in 2 places. I haven't seen a lot of crossover because of course we understand that type of crossover happens, right? Like look at the wide receivers, for example. If they want to put in a wide receiver, they can move one over into the other position. So one guy might back up 2 positions, or one guy might be the starter in one position and the backup of another. It's just how that works. But with this, Kendall Dolby, if he doesn't have to play corner all year, that's incredible news. That means that Gentry Williams has stayed healthy all year. That means Eli Bowen has stayed healthy all year. That means guys like Corton Guillory and Devon Jordan and those guys, Jacoby Johnson, have all played extremely well, and Dolby has been able to stay at Cheetah. But when you've got Reggie Powers, you've got, I think Michael Boganowski's playing a little bit at Cheetah, the true safety, but a absolute heat-seeking missile. Kendall Daniels, I think, will play a bit of Cheetah. Remember, when he was, Big 12 newcomer of the year, like he was playing safety. So he's a lot bigger now, but he's still been in coverage. He's probably who, like if Brent Venables had to just make a player the Cheetah, like in a video game, he probably would make him to be like Kendall Daniels. So, I think there's a lot of versatility in that back end, switchability, if you will. But I think the only thing that's guaranteed is Kip and Kobe at the will and at the mic, respectively.
Yeah.
Like that analysis. I really don't have much to add to it. I'm interested to see what it looks like. KRJ made a funny comment pouring out for Lewis Carter. If he was still here, he was a beast too.
Yeah.
I like the room. All right, cornerback. Now this one is really, I'm interested. Not necessarily in the stars, but just the depth in general and where we're at. So Gentry Williams and Eli Bowen. Obviously, if Gentry's healthy, I think Gentry and Eli are 2 of, potentially top corners in like top 10 corners in the SEC. I truly believe that with all of my heart.
I think they're a top 3 corner duo in the SEC if they're both healthy.
Yeah. I fully believe that. Now we got Jacoby Johnson as a backup and Jeremiah Newcomb. What are your guys' thoughts on our corner depth? How are you feeling about it?
I've come out, and I think people misunderstand what I mean by this. It's not that I'm concerned in a way that I don't think the cornerback room is good or that I don't think it'll be good. It's just I'm a little concerned. Like Gentry's had his injury issues. I know he came out saying, like, I know people think I'm injury prone, but I'm ready to play all 12 games, and I'm all for it. I hope that's the case. That's the main thing that I'm worried about is just injuries in that room, because there's others in that room that have been banged up too. So with Eli now in a boot too. I think Cortland Guillory is another guy that has been talked about a lot. I think he's gonna work into some significant playing time, so he's in that group as well. So overall, like you guys said too, I think Gentry and Eli, if they're 100% healthy all season long, that those are your guys. Those are the 2, and I agree with you. I think I'm thinking like top 10 nationally when you talk about that duo. I mean, they're 2 guys that can lock down anybody in the nation. Eli did a really good job against Ryan Williams last year. Obviously, that was a big part of Danny and Kip and R. Mason Thomas. Everybody getting after Jalen Milroe and disrupting his game, but Eli still locked down arguably one of the best, I'd say top 5 wide receivers in the country last season. So, not just him either. He did it to a ton, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about him. As long as they can stay healthy, I think there's a lot of upside to him. A very high ceiling for this room.
Yeah. I mean, this room comes down to trust, right? I mean, I am not convinced. Call me crazy, but I am not convinced if, say, God forbid, Eli Bowen goes down in week 1. Do you think Brent Venables, and he might, Javel, might, but do you think he trusts Jeremiah Newcomb to start at corner in that game, or do you think he puts Kendall Dolby at corner opposite Gentry? I think he puts Kendall Dolby there. I think Kendall Dolby is the break glass in case of emergency, and Jacoby and Jeremiah are rotation for now. Now, Jacoby's got a ton of upside. Jeremiah does as well. Guys like Malik Hawkins, who's trained his whole life to be a corner by his NFL corner father, trains with NFL corners, keeps up with them. Like, Malik's going to be a dude. Devon Jordan's going to be a dude. Jeremiah Newcomb going to be a dude, right? Tristan Haynes going to be a dude. Like, we got a lot of young dudes in that room, a lot of 4-star, good blue chippers in that room. But I just feel like they would move Peyton Bowen to, maybe move Peyton Bowen to Cheetah, move Kendall Dolby over to corner if that were to happen. And then maybe in Peyton Bowen's spot, you put Hardy, you put Boganowski, somebody like that, and get them on the field because safety is so deep. So it's going to come down to trust. And if Cortland Guillory or Jeremiah Newcomb or Jacoby Johnson have earned the trust that to go out, maybe if one of these guys goes down, that they have to go guard one of these 5-star Auburn wide receivers. I mean, I don't know. I would be surprised. I would think Dolby would get the nod there. That's why he played so much in spring. Not played so much in spring, but that was kind of where a lot of his work was. He was the number 1 JUCO corner coming to OU.
Yeah.
He is a great corner.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then last but certainly not least, safety. As you said, Trav, we're pretty deep there. Strong safety starting at Peyton Bowen, really going to go into more of his natural position, being behind Billy for a few years. No shame being behind an NFL draft pick. Then you have RSJ, who had a breakout year last year and expected to grow on that. And you have Jaden Hardy and Boganowski, who are both, highly recruited guys young guys that people are excited about. So how are you guys feeling about the safety room?
I'm feeling solid. I think, again, another room. I don't think there's a single one on defense that I'm looking at. I'm like, man, I'm not sure what to feel about here. No, I think it's deep in the right kind of way. You got guys at the top that are going to get their playing time, in RSJ and Peyton Bowen. I'm excited to see Michael Boganowski on the field a little bit more. The one play I can remember for sure from him, it just stuck in my memory. I think it was Temple, if memory serves me correctly, that he just came downhill hard and just popped a dude. Just popped him. It was loud in that stadium, man. You could hear it. I think I looked back at the replay later on because I was at that game and looked back at the replay and I'm like, yeah, you could hear that thing. So he's an aggressive player. Hopefully he's not constantly that aggressive because I don't want him to be getting hurt or anything like that. But yeah, he's one of those dudes, man. He likes the aggression, which reminds me quite a bit of Billy. Billy loves coming down there and meeting you at the line of scrimmage. And so, I like that. I'm excited for him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the safety room. Brandon Hall's done an incredible job loading that with a ton of talent, a lot of physicality, a lot of speed, a lot of size. Peyton Bowen's our smallest guy in the room there, and he's the 5-star, right? He's the highest rated guy in the room. So, I think that Robert Spears Jennings is going to play his way onto an all SEC team. That's a guy that's just kept his head down and worked. And all he's done, he didn't whine, he didn't moan, he didn't threaten to go in the portal. Nope, not him. You saw him at SEC Media Days. Not too high, not too low, business-like. And this is a guy that causes chaos, forced fumbles, right? Didn't he have he led the country in forced fumbles last year. He's good at punching the ball. He will lay some massive hits, and he's in year 4 of this defense. He's ready to make it his own. Right? It was always Billy's backfield last year, right? It was Billy's. Billy was the safety, and RSJ kind of got forgotten about. But a lot of the year, RSJ was the better safety than Billy. So, like, I would say that I think he's ready to shine, kind of make that room his own, make that backfield his own.
Yeah, Billy had a harder time last year to get his hands on the ball the way he did the year prior, and that's not anything on him necessarily. It's just that's what made him stand out the year before that, back in 2023. So yeah, I mean RSJ, I agree with you. I think he was like surprisingly he was the better. I mean it's saying quite a bit. He was the better safety all season last year. Yeah, I mean he's a dog. I'm excited to see him step up into that bigger role.
Yep, and he's I'm going down here in a couple of weeks to his old high school. And no, Shep, I'm not talking about the BA Tigers. I'm talking about the Mansfield Lake Ridge Eagles, where he transferred from there to go to Tulsa, to go to Broken Arrow. So, anyways, they called him Big Game Bobby down at Mansfield. I learned from one of his former coaches down there. So, but yeah, he's been working a long time for this. He was great last year, but he's not flashy. He doesn't say anything. He was a highly rated recruit, but he wasn't Billy, right? So, which I don't know if people have seen that Billy photo of him flexing in his Atlanta gear. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. He's
jacked. Yeah. I mean, it's his job now. Like, you see a lot of these guys in college that still have like other things going on. Like, no, you're a professional now. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Go work out.
Yeah, 100%. We can go through special teams a little bit more in depth on another day, but obviously, Satang is probably going to be a main kicker, punt returner, Peyton Bowen as well, and then Tay Sandella, kicker. Jake Wilrich, a punter. But I did want to get to. We don't have to do the entire game, but I do want to get to our throwback segment in respect to your guys' time. Any guesses on what the game is this week? Chad or otherwise?
I think we're staying in the Stoops era. I would say pre-2008 Stoops.
Josh, you got any?
I haven't been tuning in enough to them to catch what you guys have done already. I think I saw you guys doing the Tennessee game back in, was that 15? I think I remember seeing that one. Yeah. So I mean, because that's like my throwback game whenever I think, because I remember that's where I was like, man, this is why I don't like Baker. And then he turned around and closed the game out, and I was like, never mind, I think I do like him.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, the way that he started that game off, man. Oh man, I was like, man, I'm telling you, I think he's indecisive. And then he closed it out, and I was like, okay, maybe I see the dog in him. Not willing to give up. I'll give him another chance. And then he just, obviously took my heart.
Yeah. Good call on that one.
Yeah.
Well, apparently some of y'all acting like y'all have asked for. I didn't see them in the comments before, so I'll note it. But without further ado, it is not pre-2008, Trav, but you were close. It's 2011 Florida State.
I remember this one.
Catch.
Yeah.
Kenny Stills, Landry Jones era. This was one of my favorite games. I was I think a sophomore in high school. Yeah, sophomore in high school during this game, and so it was my prime teenage years, and I remember OU being number one, and going into a top 5 matchup, and doing what we were able to do, man. So it's fun to look back on some of these. A young Brendan Clay.
Yeah, Brendan Clay, man. I miss that guy.
Part of the Cali trio with him, Kenny, and Tony Jefferson.
Was Broyles gone by this point? This is right after Broyles left, right?
No, he's here.
Oh, he's right there. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if he was in that game. I just remember James Hanna and Kenny Stills from this game for sure. I mean, look at the linemen running down the field too, man. Like I miss that. Getting out of
Yeah.
those offensive linemen going down there and seeking for a head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabe Ikeda is
Next
the
level.
starter. Yeah. So anybody that has crap to say about Gabe, let's just watch him.
Yeah.
Watch him go. I think he was injured in that specific. $10 super chat from Seth, so we're gonna answer it while we continue to watch this game. Thank you. It'd be the right guy. I say yes. They're year one and last season. I got us locked in at 8, 9, and 10 if we stay healthy and a couple things bounce our way. Boomer and Tuck, Texas. I think that we've been pretty clear on the show that we believe that he has every opportunity to be the guy. I think injuries or not, if he were to lose 6 games, I think everybody's on the same page. If that happens, then, it's probably not going to work out. However, Travis and I'll let Travis speak for himself as well, have always kind of been on the same page that a lot of what has happened, like the first year, like we were in games, don't get us wrong, but like we didn't have depth. We just didn't. It's just a fact. We didn't have depth because of everything that happened with Lincoln. And then, really, we should in 2023, it would have been nice. We probably should have made a playoff. That there's pieces there, but 10-win season. That's why everybody was hopeful. Last year was a disaster, and we were hurt. We were. I mean, catastrophic. Oh, that's a terrible hit.
Yeah,
Wow.
I hated watching that one over and over again too, man. I hated that. I remember too. It's like, can we just get past this?
Just a catastrophic injury. Yeah, catastrophic injuries.
Austin Box. Yeah, this is whenever we were passing that 12 around, right?
Yep. Yeah. Tommy Ward. But anyways, back to that question. We had catastrophic injuries last year, and we obviously didn't have the right offensive coordinator, which is on him. But the injuries are not. A lot of them weren't soft tissue injuries. Some of them were, but the majority of them weren't. So it's hard to even blame that straight up on strength and conditioning either.
What a regardless,
that's how I feel. Travis and Josh, feel free to chime in on that as we watch Kenny Stills be a beast.
Yeah, I mean, I think BV's the right guy. It's just dealt a bad hand last year. He brings the energy that and the atmosphere, the overall. I mean, the feel of the program feels like what Oklahoma should feel like, and he knows what Oklahoma's about. So I think he's the right guy. Whether he's going to stick around and prove that to be the case, I don't know. I really hope he does, because he's the guy. Not quite to the same extent, because we get the comparisons to Nebraska right now, and obviously me having Nebraska in my family, I see the comparisons people are trying to make, but it's kind of like when Nebraska brought in Scott Frost. Man, they wanted him so bad to win, and he just couldn't. But that just felt like Scott Frost wasn't bringing any kind of energy to the program that he should have. With BV, man, I feel like he brings that energy. He brings everything to Oklahoma football that you want in a head coach. So, and then brought elite defense back to Oklahoma too. So I love BV, and I hope Brent is able to turn things around.
Yeah, I mean, it's Brent's got to win. Like, simple as that. Like, you don't get 4 years. Like, you don't get 4 years to figure it out, right? So you have to figure it out in year 4 if you haven't figured it out by then. So simple as that. He's got to go out there and win. And, I think he will. I think he'll have a top 15 defense. And if you can have a top 20 offense, which is crazy that we used to be like, whoa, we're not top 3? What's going on, Lincoln? Granted, we were 119th in defense, but what a hit. Harris was on one this game.
Yeah.
So
Corey Nelson in there.
But it was like, you need to win this year. 7 wins ain't enough. Like 8 wins might not be enough. I think that we'll win 9 or 10 games. But that's part of my belief in Ben Arbuckle and the offense saying, hey, look, we'll cover this side. Don't worry about this side, Brent. I think that Brent knew he made the wrong decision last year with how he was handling the quarterbacks. And I don't think he ever was able to fully commit to the defense and watching Allie. So I think he was like, he wasn't dialed in on either of them because he was trying to watch out of the side of his eye on both of them at the same time. He's taking his eye off the ball. I think he's 100% going to be focused on the defense and let Arbuckle cook and just say, hey, Arbuckle, John, you got this. Like, go for it. So, yeah, but he's got to win this year. Simple as that. There's no more excuses. You can't continue to talk about the standard at Oklahoma unless you uphold it. And if you can't uphold it, then pay back that salary that you were given to uphold it and make Oklahoma not have to pay a buyout that you didn't earn.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like I said, we talked about that on the show. There are reasons, but regardless, you can't go have 3 losing seasons and survive as the head coach of Oklahoma. That's just a fact. So, not even 7 wins is really going to cut it this year, especially with, I think, the talent that we feel like we're going to have. So, I think that we will get over 8 wins, 9 wins, potentially, maybe even 10. And I think that, we'll feel better about where the program is at. But the other thing I wanted to mention that, again, not to make it an excuse fest, but something I was talking about with a friend the other day was just the reality of that these are people like that we're talking about. We all understand that, but like what Brent has gone through with Julie is not for the weak, and it's hard to be a husband that sees your wife going through that, and like that's just a fact. It just is. And I know people don't like to talk about it, but I have to believe it has played some sort of role. And even if he ends up not working out, and that's part of it, it's his job. I get it. And so I'm not saying that it means he shouldn't be let go, but I feel like personally that's something that absolutely should be considered with just the heaviness of what that is and what it means. Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it absolutely matters. But, and I think he knows that. It's Brent, you could have, that's the play. It's like, Brent, like, we're all praying for you, and if you feel like you need to step away, then step away. Like, it's and he'd be the first to tell you, no, I can do this job.
Right.
Okay, well, then you'll be held to the standards of the job.
For sure.
Like,
for sure.
Simple as that. So
watching his interview with Josh Pate too is like, it solidifies. BV knows that he's on the hot seat probably more than anybody else. Like, yes. I think he put himself on the hot seat before the administration did. He knows what Oklahoma expects, man. Like that's why I think I think he's the right guy. Is he the right guy to get the job done? I don't know. Maybe he ends up not being the right guy to get the job done. But yeah, I'm kind of in the boat that I think 7 wins is that teeter-totter where the school has to come down to a decision, and it's a tough decision at that point because it depends on how that 7 wins were to come, or how the 5 losses were to come. I think is what matters the most there. And then 6 wins, man. I just don't see a scenario where he's kept around unless they are just extremely patient, man. So yeah, I feel like that's 6 win season again. He's probably out. I don't see how you don't push him out the door. And then 7 is kind of that teeter-totter moment, where you got to make a decision.
For sure. Dominic Whaley, man, you guys remember that name?
Yeah.
So, oh, heck yeah.
And Trav Dominic Whaley was a 5-star, wasn't he?
He was up there. No.
Man, Dominic Whaley came off the streets.
Yep.
I think I saw somebody saying, what grade were you guys in when this game was happening? This was 2011, right?
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay, so you're not much older than me then. Okay, so because I'm pretty sure I was either freshman or eighth grade. I'm trying to think. 2011. I would have been a freshman, I think. So I was a young freshman though. So
Yeah. Travel.
Sorry, I was a bit distracted.
Young adult.
I was a bit distracted planning I'm going to the night with Nagy tomorrow to tell him how much the chat loves him and loves his style. Loves the Moneyball approach. I'm gonna go tell him all that. But
they love the Moneyball approach.
So one of our
get us a quote from him.
Oh, I will for sure. Yeah, oh man, look at that, love. But my business partner, we're making driving plans, so I apologize. Yes, I definitely know that Whaley was not a 5-star JUCO kid.
Travis Lewis, man, that's like one of my all-time favorite linebackers. Like,
oh, I agree.
Kind
of. Oops, sorry, Josh.
No, you're good. No, just under the radar kind of guy, man. Like he's fun.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys see where John Mateer and them were talking with Nagy on the plane, and they didn't know the movie Tommy Boy?
Yes.
Man, like that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Yeah. Man, Tommy Boy's like, he said that must be a generational gap. I'm like, I'm not that much older than these guys. And then I got to thinking, I was like, man, like they are the generation after me. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, they're kids.
Yeah.
All right, we're approaching 10 Central and 11 Eastern for JP.
That's my bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on, bro. For real.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys having
me. Anytime you come back, it was enjoyable.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys having me. I had a blast. Love getting to talk Oklahoma football with other people. I feel like right now I'm just kind of a solo host on my shows talking Oklahoma football. So don't get too much of that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Appreciate you all for tuning in. All 939 of you that are here. For those of you that are on YouTube, Kirby, Boomer, Cowboys, Seth, all you folks, hit the like button. Just go hit the like.
Speaking of Kirby, he wants to know why you have a Boise State helmet.
I got all kinds of helmets, dude. I will tell you this, okay, because I've got a Texas helmet that I've got hiding where nobody would be able to find it unless you were to really inspect this entire room, okay? And it's not anywhere on the screen. And I do that on purpose. I pull it out for Red River Week, and that's it. Now I've got a ton of helmets, man. I think I've got like 46 and counting. I'm trying to build up all the teams if I can.
Gotcha.
But I like the Boise look, man. I don't like their field too much anymore. It hurts my eyes, but yeah, I know. It still stings back then, but whatever. We'll get over it.
We'll get over it. It's fine.
I think I got a Michigan State back there, Clemson back there, LSU, Georgia,
you got a few.
Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, TCU, Nebraska. I mean, I got all of them back there.
Yeah, Boomer 129 is lying out his teeth. That means it's time for us to go. So we again, Josh, bro, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Love the setup, regardless of any jokes.
I appreciate it.
Like Travis said, is probably as good a setup as I've seen of any guests that we've had. So that would include, we've had the Josh Pates of the world on here. Granted, I know he came, he kind of was on in a different setting, but still, man, you're doing a great job. Tell people where they can find you, and then we'll head out.
Yeah, best place to find me is over on X. Honestly, I keep everybody up to date with everything I'm doing over on X at Real Josh Mahler. Otherwise, on YouTube, you can find me Sooner Spotlight and also Oklahoma at the Voice of College Football. Of course, if you're a baseball fan, tune in over at ouinsider.com and get signed up. It's an amazing platform over there. So go check it out over there. I do all kinds of baseball insight, intel, keep up with the transfer portal, recruiting, and hopefully being able to build on what I was able to kind of start this year. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week around the same time. Boomer.
Sooner.